Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Board of the Bantu. This is your local witch doctor, Isabel, and right now, here and now, you are in the company of the Xhosa and the Namibians and everybody else who is a member of my DNA. The Bantu. One God. No gods or goddesses. Thank you, God. Ancestors, witch doctors, and their flock. Okay. The biggest landowners in the whole of Africa. Hundreds and hundreds of different tribes, hundreds and hundreds of different traditional dresses, hundreds and hundreds of different foods, hundreds and hundreds and thousands upon thousands of differences. Still, one God. Okay, welcome to the Bantu. For the new arrivals, you have arrived. The Bantu do not say goodbye or hello. We say you have arrived. And go well wherever you're going. Okay. So those who have stopped by and decided they belong here, thank you. Those who came as tourists, thank you so much for being polite and very loving and not shooting guns in our streets and doing any of that stuff. Thank you so much, and you are welcome to come back again. This week, I am doing Natalie Holloway Unsolved Cases because I really want to push myself. I've had a few upgrades as a witch doctor, spiritual upgrades as a witch doctor, and I really, really want to push myself. So, of course, I am going to go to Unsolved Cases just to see what I can get. And of course, Natalie Holloway got the most requests on YouTube, and here I am. Ms. Natalie Holloway disappeared in 2005. I had to read that, but I do remember when she disappeared because she made the news all over the world. She was 18 years old. She was beautiful. She went to Aruba on vacation, and she just disappeared. And for a while there, the world was grappling, looking for her killer. And when they finally found her killer, they said they found her killer, Joran something. I couldn't, Vanderbilt or whatever. Yeah, they said they found her killer, but they couldn't get the case to stick, and Joran walked, only to be arrested years later, and for a murder of another person. So what I'm going to do is bring the soul that is Natalie Holloway. I'm going to try to bring her from the other side, and then I'm going to bring Joran. Interestingly enough, when I just said Joran, I just felt like, let me not say it. Anyway, I'm going to bring Joran, and then we're going to see what happened, hopefully. Hopefully, we're going to hear something interesting, something new, hopefully. Okay, so I am going to call Natalie. This isn't a seance. I'm simply calling Natalie. Okay, then I'm going to call Joran. Okay, but I'm told, my grandmother just said you start with the living first. So I'm going to call Joran first. Okay, and then I am going to call Natalie. Okay, suspect and victim. Okay, Joran. Joran. So Joran, obviously we know he's in prison for the murder of someone else, right? He came in with chains. That usually happens when you're in prison or you're in a cage. He came in with chains, looking unkept, looking like, before I saw his eyes, he was looking like he was in despair. But when he raised his eyes and he looked at me, there is nothing desperate about this man. This man has a fire. This man has a will to live and a will to conquer that is stronger than most. At once, his soul tells me that he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He did not do it. And then his soul says it was an accident. So I'm assuming that I'm just going to say exactly what his soul said. It was an accident. And I'm going to leave it at that, okay? Open mind, lady. Open mind. Don't be judgmental. He says he didn't do this thing. They really tried to stick it on him, but he didn't do it. You know, he says he was completely ruined by it. And, you know, he's not going to allow life to ruin him, right? He's going to survive even what he is going through, okay? Okay, so now I am going to call the spirit that is Natalie. I really feel like she's going to be easy to call because I think she's been called a billion times by other people. So it can go one of both ways. Because she's been called a billion times by other people, she could have become really dark, or she can be very easy to call, and this can be a really good 30-minute reading. Let me just turn off my phone. Okay. Did I turn it off? Let me see. Okay. Good. Okay, so here's hoping. Natalie. Well, Natalie is here. She like walked through my door and she had a smile on her face. Of course, she still looks like she looked that, you know, when she transcended, right? But she will not sit in the same plate, in the same waiting room as Yoran. So I'm going to take Yoran out of the way out, and I'm going to put him to the left as per my ancestors, because he is the living, and Natalie will go to the right. So Yoran, here we go. Okay. Now this is all Yoran. Let me just study Yoran's shells. So Yoran, we are seeing what we've been feeling. He's not going to come out of prison alive. He's just not. He's not going to come out of prison alive. And of course, he lost his freedom, and he's never going to get it back. And this is Yoran right here. He was a young man with a very promising future. He was going places in his own way, right? But then at some point he messed up. I don't know about he messed up. He does. It's either a female who has a child with him, or she was pregnant by him at one point. And then this is his dad. His dad had the most influence in his life where he is concerned, and his dad's money ran his life. This is the person he pays the most attention to. Who is this? A friend, a male friend. He was very close to his male friend. Very close. And he was very protective of his male friend. But his male friend, Yoran, is actually a very quiet guy. Like, he doesn't talk much. So he was into his friend because his friend was very entertaining. His friend was like, you know, entertaining. Okay. Now let me call Natalie again. Now that we've looked at this. Natalie. This is a soul that is on the other side happy, Okay, she laughed and she giggled and she smiled at me as she sat down and she folded her legs. Very elegant, very ladylike. Okay, so here we go, Miss Natalie. Yeah, we do know that Natalie did pass. Okay, and Grandma is saying I threw the shells wrong. Damn. Natalie. 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 So you died. And Natalie didn't die right away. She actually took time to leave. So they had her somewhere else for some time before they decided to kill her. She says they didn't intend to kill her. They just intended to hold her hostage until they were done doing what they needed to do. And then the story blew out of proportion and she became so famous. They decided that they will just, off her so that they don't get into trouble. So this is the shell that fell. And then after a certain period of time, how many months? 3 to 4 months. 3 months? 3.5. I'm not good with time. 3.5. They finally killed her. She tried to escape several times. So where were they keeping you, Natalie? Where were they keeping you? In a cabin by the sea. Whose cabin was it? Not Yoran's. Not Yoran's. And not the other boy. Some older man. Some older man's cabin who was the ringleader. They were keeping me in the cabin. It was never searched by the police. The police never came there looking for her. Okay. Can you describe it a little bit? I don't know. There isn't much to say because I didn't see anything. They brought me in at night. I was doped up and drunk. And I was laughing a lot. And I didn't even know what was happening to me until the next day. What did they want from you? Well, it wasn't sex for sure. It was the money. I had money on me and I was flashing it and they needed money. It was the money. Yes, it was definitely the money. It wasn't me because there were lots of other beautiful girls there. I was just the one who was an easy pick. I was an easy pick. I was an easy pick. I thought Yoran was so cute. I really fell for him. Was this the first time that you and Yoran had met? No. I saw him around when I first got there and we talked. I really liked him. So, I was comfortable. I was comfortable with him. I really didn't suspect him of anything. You've seen his eyes. He's so cute, you know, so cute. And I was so dumb. But it's okay. I'm happy now. Those were some of the most gruesome months I ever went through. Can you describe this older man, Natalie? He had a beard, like a beard, gray and black beard. You know, it was graying. It was kind of chunky. He kind of looked like Yoran. He actually did kind of look like Yoran. And kind of acted like Yoran too. Like an older version of Yoran. Yeah, that's where they kept me, but he was unkept. He was kind of dirty, unkept. He drank a lot. And, you know, I thought he used to smell, but that's just me. I really thought they were going to let me go. I really thought they were going to let me go. I would talk to Yoran sometimes, and I would say, when are you going to let me go? And he would say, soon. Soon. So who killed you? He did. Yoran. No. The guy who looked like Yoran, the big slob. The slob. That's all I can tell you. He was a slob. He was a slob. He killed me. Why? They were arguing for days about how to get rid of me because there was just too much attention on them, and they were arguing amongst themselves. Then he just lost it, and he just shot me. He got shot? Yes, he shot me. He just went into the room where he kept me, and he just shot me. So then what happened? They're never gonna find me, you know. They took me out on a boat. And they threw me into the water. But guess what? Something of mine will be found. Not now, though. Way after people have forgotten. Something of mine will be found. What? Just something. I can't tell you what it is, but just something. Who knew I would end up in a watery grave? So Natalie was the pretty girl who had money that they cut her off from her friends and the people she was with that night. Is that what you're saying? She went somewhere with a bunch of people and they cut her off from them. This is Yoran talking to her, but this is the man who was actually paying attention to Natalie. So basically, almost as if Yoran was a puppet. Is that true, Natalie? Is that true? They were all in on it. They were all in on it. You know, they just wanted a little bit of money, and I just spent a little too much money, and they were saying rich American. They just wanted some money to go and have fun. So they were going to take it from me. They were going to steal it from me, and then they were going to be happy. That was the plan. That was the plan. So Yoran actually talked to Natalie, right? Like I think she said before, if I didn't say it, she actually talked he actually talked to Natalie. He liked her, besides the fact that they were being greedy about the money they felt that she had. He liked her, but Natalie didn't like him. She actually thought he was cute and everything, but she didn't like him. There were one, two, three, four, five people involved in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway. Some of them not so deeply involved. This guy here befriended some of the people that Natalie was moving around with. This guy here, he befriended them, but it was almost as if to distract them while they worked on their quarry, Natalie. So this guy here was like, talking to them and being nice, and this guy here befriended the other group. So basically what we are getting here and what Natalie is saying here was that two groups of people got together. Two groups of people were talking. Her group and the killer's group, they were talking and they were being friendly and they were being happy. But the killer's group had an agenda. They had a strategy. So they were strategizing to get to Natalie because she looked like a rich bitch with lots of money. And so they were, one was paying attention to Natalie. Yoran was paying attention. This guy here, the unkept guy and the ringleader and the one who targeted Natalie, was like orchestrating the whole thing, making sure that it happened. He was keeping his eye on the target. One guy was keeping one half of Natalie's friends entertained. The other guy was keeping one half of Natalie's friends entertained. So they met at some happy hour or a happy place, okay, where they were having fun. Natalie, interestingly enough, was very much in her cups. I don't care what anybody says. She was very much in her cups. She was thinking about herself. She was doing her. Okay? She was doing her. She was spending the money. She was spending the money and she was drunk, and nobody was looking out for her. Like, her people were not looking out for her. They were not even paying attention to her. The only people who were actually paying attention to Natalie were her captors. They were targeting her. She says, "That's right. Thank you, Mama. I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it, Mama." Okay. So, I don't have any questions. How were you separated from your friends? How were you separated from your friends? How were you separated from your friends? Yeah, I'll keep having falling shells because I'm talking to someone who has transcended, and I keep being reminded of that. Huh. Her friends left her. The group that she was with left her. Says, yes, they left me. Yes, they left her, and she ended up the same group of people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same group of people then surrounded her because her friends left her. They walked, they left. Why did they leave you? I was unruly. I was drunk. It was like really my first time to be so drunk. this wasn't me, but I just wanted to do something different because I was in a different place, a different time, and I just wanted to be different. It wasn't me. I didn't drink like that. I didn't lose it like that. I was a very controlled young lady who did and I knew my P's and my Q's, and I knew how to navigate, and I knew how harsh the world was. It wasn't me. But I lost it just for a second, and nobody had my back. No one had my back. And I cannot blame others. I can't blame others for what happened to me, but I do wish they had cared for me a little more. I actually thought that my bestie and the people I was with would, rescue me. But I guess, the attention I was getting from Yoran made some of them jealous. So, I was kind of trapped, because then they said, don't worry, we'll take you home. We'll take you to the hotel. That was home. We'll take you to the hotel. But it wasn't the hotel where they were taking me. They drove me somewhere else. But I was so out of it that I didn't even notice. I only noticed when we got there that it wasn't a hotel. Then they told me to sleep it off. And by the time I woke up, I was in chains. Yeah, you know what she's saying. You know what she's saying. Besides being in chains, Natalie, what else did they do to you? Besides being in chains, Natalie, what else did they do to you? They took off her shoes. They took off her shoes, so she was shoeless. Okay. The threats, they threatened her. They promised her freedom, but as we know, it never came. But they threatened her, and they left her alone for a long period of time. No food, no drink for a very long period of time. She says it was almost good to see someone. I kept thinking that she had hope all the way. Can you tell us something that only the police would know? The police don't know anything. The police did not bother to look for me. Over there, they tell stories. They didn't bother. They didn't bother to look for me. They just did not bother, because Yoran, came from a great family, and so did those boys. They just didn't bother. They just didn't believe that those boys had done anything at all, because if the police had looked for me, they would have knocked on this man's door. So this man was rich. Oh, yeah. So there was a huge debate between her captors. Some of them were saying, let her go. Some of them were saying, no, we're not going to let her go. And those who didn't want to let her go won the day. And those who wanted to let her go lost. She had one of them on her side. He really fought for her. He really fought for her. He wanted her to be let go of, to be let go. He really fought for her, but it didn't happen. They decided otherwise. They decided that they were not going to do that. They really did, you guys. She's crying. She says it was so hard. Those were the hardest moments of her life. She missed her parents. She missed her her life back, and she realized that she had taken it all for granted. She realized that she realized that she had taken it all for granted. She is crying, and I'm about to cry, and that's not a good look. So there was a woman. Who is she? The mother of one of the captors who knew about it and who urged them to let her go, saying that if you let her go, the problem will, you can talk to the police. We can make it work. She tried. There was a woman who did try. She did try, but it went against her. Natalie says everybody knew. It wasn't like a great secret. That's why I say the police didn't look for me. It was like a conspiracy. I met so many people while I was in that cabin. I met so many people. I couldn't leave the cabin. Were you tied up? Yes. She won't say much because she doesn't want to upset the living, so she's not going to say much. But yeah, yeah, it was a horrifying existence for those few months. She says, I was so sure they would find me. I believed in America. I believed they would find me. I was thinking this primitive little place in America, they will find me, and they never did. I died. Yes, you did. So she says the police is corrupt. She says money exchanged hands. Those who even came close to the truth, money exchanged hands. So I am going to stop this, but not before. So Natalie Holloway will be found. She will be found. Not for a long time, though. But what is Natalie Holloway will be found. DNA evidence will show it, but not for a long time. We can sit back and forget it, okay? Really, we can sit back and forget it right now because it's not for a long time. But there was a woman who wanted to come forward, the very same woman that Natalie pointed out, one of the mothers of the captors, wanted to come over, and she was stifled. She couldn't. She was blocked. So, okay, I don't know if this was helpful at all. Okay. She skipped with, I did not say it because I just don't want to cause too much grief to the living. But she did go through a really hard time while she was being held captive. Okay. And she moved from hope to despair, hope to despair, hope to despair, and then eventually, yeah. So I'm going to stop here. She said, I am getting justice. She said, I am getting justice. Okay, let me ask her. What happened to the man who shot you? What happened to the man who shot you, Natalie? What happened to the man who shot you? He's still around. He is still around and he is married with a child. He did, however, or does, however, spend a lot of money paying people off. Money over money, because this story is not dead. This story is not dead by a long shot. And it does rear its ugly head where he is concerned once in a while. It does. What do you think about Yoran going to prison for another woman's murder? What do you think about Yoran going to prison for another woman's murder? What do you think about Yoran going to prison for another woman's murder? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? See, the transcendent are always very interesting to me. They're always very forgiving, and she doesn't like it. She doesn't think it was a good thing. Oh, sorry, Mama. But she does say, but it was poetic justice. It was justice. He could not live with what he'd done to her. And so he became worse than he actually was. And it's a shame and it's painful, but, and she said that it happened to him, but it was poetic justice. Okay, now definitely I'm going to stop here. I'm definitely going to stop here. I really don't think I got anything. Anyway, I would like to thank Natalie for allowing me this time of talking with her. And I would like to blow her home. I would like to blow the energy that is Natalie back to the winds, as I thank the winds for allowing me to talk to her. On that note, the courts of the Bantu have seen that this was a 5-person job with lots of other people involved, and the Aruba police being corrupt. Yeah, that's what we have seen. We have seen that it wasn't that they weren't doing their job. They were just making sure they were doing their job in order for no one to be caught. And we saw all that. That's very depressing. I would like to thank the soul that is Natalie. And I'm happy to say she has great peace where she is, and she is happy. And I would like to thank you all for watching. And I never, ever, ever leave without saying this, because so many of us are so cruel to ourselves. So I will say it. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. It doesn't cost much to be kind. And at the end of the day, when you close your eyes, you will feel way better about yourself than when you were cruel. Be good to yourself. Be gracious to yourself. Be loving to yourself. You're that important. And this is the beginning of a week I hope is way better than last week. For all of us. Kisses.